Man, talk about, the blessing to be able to get this fight with Kamaru Usman, right? Me, giving out that poll, during my post-fight, interview, and everybody saying, they want to see the Kamaru Usman fight. So I really think this was the fans and them being able to, really kind of voice their opinion on who they want to see me fight next. And now that we got it, right? So now we got, our name in the real big lights, right? We in Atlanta. We here about to have the main event show at State Farm Arena. I'm just so excited now. It's a dream come true. Right there, I believe with, fighting a person like Colby Covington, it just proved to everybody that, I'm a dynamic fighter, right? Very versed in not just my striking, but in my grappling as well. He had a very hard time, trying to get me to the ground, and then when he did get me to the ground, we got up every single time, So with that being said, I really feel like, I put myself on notice when it comes to the 170 division, because I don't care what nobody say. Don't nobody say my name, right? Like, everybody wants to talk about these other guys being the boogeyman, but, for myself, don't nobody mention my name. But as you see me starting to climb the ranks, right, and fighting these, like interim champion like Kobe, right, former champion in Kamaru Usman, and then the performance that I feel like I'm going to do on him, it's just like, before you know it, it doesn't even matter about people calling me out or not. They're going to have to fight me because I'm going to have that belt around my waist pretty soon. I feel like I've always been a fighter to always evolve and always get better. But I really feel like I'm just in a more natural weight class for myself. I've always been talented at 185, but me going down to 170, I really could not cheat myself. Right, I had to eat the right things. I had to make sure that I'm working out, every single day in order to get my weight down to a certain weight. But regardless, though, I feel like the talent itself and the skill itself is now put with the discipline, right? And with that discipline and with that commitment that I've been putting towards the game, is not going to be matched by anybody else. So I really feel like, anybody that I fight up to this point is going to have a problem with me at 170. I mean, he a better man. He can answer that for himself, right? But I think it's been like 2 years since we seen Kamaru Usman, right? And his last fight that he had was with the, boogeyman himself, Hamzat, right? But you seen that he took that boy to, a 3-round war. And it looked like, if that fight could have went a little further, Usman could have, really showed that man what's up. But with all that being said, I can only look at that performance and give him like an A+, right? For him to be able to come off of that fight on 10 days' notice, right, and be able to step into that octagon, in foreign territory, right, as we call it, and still be able to put on a show and go out there. I think, I'm going to be fighting the best version of Kamaru Usman, right? Because what he said out his mouth was that he wasn't going to sign a contract unless he felt ready, right? So with that being said, with him signing this contract against me, I guess he feel ready, like he finna get up in there and do something. So with that being said, I'm prepared for the best Kamaru Usman that we seen. I feel like you got to make a statement in this fight for myself and for Usman, right? Because you see everybody on this road to gold, right? On this race to become a world champion. With myself, with Ian Gary, with Sean Brady, right? With even Kamaru Usman trying to regain the title. So with that being said, like every performance that you have has to be a statement, right? And it's one thing to have a fight of the night and do all of that, but it's another thing to actually go out there and finish somebody, right? And to go out there and really put on the type of highlight that I feel like will last in people's minds forever. So that's what I plan on doing. I plan on pretty much reproducing something that we did back in 2020, for sure. Right now, it's stacked, right, at the top, and you got a lot of moving pieces. And for myself, just knowing that Islam has done a lot within his weight class at lightweight, submitted his name as a great, lightweight at 155, even probably above his brother Habib, I feel like in my heart, though, with him moving up to 170, that he hasn't done anything to really prove that, he can fight at 170. And I believe that in my heart, though, you have to show that you can even compete at this weight class just because you have a belt and, you won and was able to hold that belt at one weight class don't mean you can come up and do the same here. So I really believe, Islam got more to prove. But, at the end of the day, the UFC going to make their call and they're going to make it do what it do. But I'm going to make sure that once I go out there June 14th and I knock out Kamaru Usman, that statement itself is going to, ring true that I should fight for the title next.